Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, March 18, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night. There's a lot to cover on this call. A lot to cover. We always talk about opposites, right? For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. But in the case of, let's say, what's the opposite of God? In that case, there isn't an opposite. Period. And one may say, well, how can that be? It's because everything is God. Even the bad stuff, say. Now, a lot of people on this planet, and more I think, I believe, are starting to realize that the old way of believing that there is a God outside of us, that we should worship and kneel to and fear, is fading quickly during this transition of this planet, this solar system, this civilization, and others. Because we're beginning to realize that I believe this, and maybe a lot of you can sense it, that at least, we're starting to look within, and I believe it's out of the childlike curiosity that we all have, and we look within and say, maybe it is me, maybe there is something inside of me that is a supreme, all-powerful, manifesting master, supreme being that never dies. If you were to look at all, and again, not judging, but just watching, throughout the past, all the efforts that have been made to keep us distracted and asleep. Our bodies have been altered. Our age factors have been altered. The background, the past, has been altered immensely. And we have been constantly kept distracted and preoccupied, being literally controlled by the ego mind. So if we can't, when we can't discover who and what we are while we're in these bodies, because we're in such a short time in these bodies. It really is a short time. Doesn't make sense. And it's like all of us, once in a while, a few exceptions, all of us are blanked. So we start over pretty much every time we enter another body. You know, we have a different life, different experiences, which is great. But we don't remember. You know, it's like we hit our heads every time we leave a body, and we hit our heads every time we come into a body. And I believe that more and more of us are starting to realize and recognize the fact that this is not our natural state of being. It isn't. And I believe that we are starting to realize this within, deeper and deeper and deeper within, to discover that we are all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever in these bodies. And once the majority of us truly discover this, without doubt, without fear, without worry, without stress, with great confidence, trust, and faith in ourselves and this universe, everything's going to be completely different. It's going to change immediately. It'll change almost instantaneously. We've been, as a civilization, we've been pigeonholed in a sedentary status. We don't move forward, but the illusions around us seem a little bit like moving forward, but more and more of us are starting to realize is that we're really not moving forward. This is why we use telephone poles today that are 200 years old. So we have this, and more and more is starting to question, which is great, that we question things. Don't ever stop questioning. It's not being cynical. It's not, taking lower frequencies. We're just curious, aren't we? Aren't we all curious? I mean, don't we want to know things? There was a time where we used to blow things off just randomly all the time. Blow them off. Oh, I'm not going to spend any time with that. I'll just let that go. Now we're starting to move within ourselves, and we're discovering things about ourselves, which is a good thing. The dark parts, the light parts, and in-between parts. And we start to embrace them all. One thing that the few of us that have been fortunate enough to partake in the Green Lion, the first phase of it, it brings you to past situations so you have an opportunity to forgive. You know what I mean? These are things that we've experienced, but they're kind of like unfinished business with each of us. They're there, but they really haven't surfaced much, and so we just go about our lives. But the Green Lion, it brings us, we reflect on those. It's not like we're, consciously doing this. It's through the pineal gland that we are looking into our past. And we're basically cleaning it up for ourselves. Forgiving all the things that at the time, very rare that we would forgive. But now we are forgiving. So we're getting our, so to speak, cupboards, closets in order. And our biggest aid is our commitment, devotion to meditation. This is an exercise for us to open up ourselves more, to understand ourselves more, and to start moving away from worry, stress, and fear, which is so prevalent in this civilization. And we don't, we feel it on an ongoing basis. We feel the worry, the stress, the fear. We feel the anxiety, all of it, And it's not just this country, but the entire planet. Because we're all connected. So we feel these emotions. Once we know that as watchers, then it's that we don't take it in, so to speak. We watch it, we understand it. And the planet's being bathed in deep eternal love 24/7. It's not going to end. It's not like I've said, a short event. It's forever. And it's going to intensify more and more. Why is that? Because we are the ones intensifying it, collectively, across this planet, throughout the galaxy, universe, and beyond. So the focus is a new Earth. And there's a lot of things that we're understanding that this planet needs our assistance. It's not like she can't take care of a lot of things, but our assistance would be greatly appreciated. Since we've created, all of us gods create everything. Everything. The trees, the bushes, the birds, the bees, in a very finite, balanced ecosystem. You ever notice that? How it all works in great detail. I mean, it works phenomenally well. And yes, of course, we also, some of us, due to our bicameralism and our misunderstanding, we defile the very thing that we create as beauty, which is part of us, the gods that we are. Anything on this planet that is defiled, it is defiling us gods. And most people would never think that, or even be on that page. But it is. But do we get, maybe in the body gets irritated at times, it's stressful, but the gods don't. Because whatever's been done can be undone. Nothing, everything is possible. There are no limitations, there never were. But when you have such powerful beings as us that illusion-wise, we feel okay, so we in the body you look at it, you say we're disconnected. We're all individuals, right? Oh no, if you think that way, you'll lose your individuality. We've never really been individual. We've all been one. See, by convincing a civilization that it's an individual, can you see the ramifications of that? And they play out on this planet throughout every century, don't they? Convincing a civilization that it is individual, separate from each other. Now, that doesn't mean we all experience. It's fun, though. We experience, every one of us, experience these lives differently. Not exactly, because that's the way we absorb as a collective consciousness many different facets of experiences. We create a better universe the more experiences we do have. You know, the good ones, the bad ones. There's no such thing as failure. That is a control mechanism for the civilization of this planet. That word, that frequency. There's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as coincidence. And there's no such thing as a mistake. Everything is an experience. What happens as we've been trained, conditioned, and programmed is that we believe that we made a mistake. Instead of knowing, it was just an experience. But the society has been trained to believe, you made a mistake. What comes in a lot of times is what? Guilt, right? Dissatisfaction with oneself. We come down on ourselves. It's all connected. Why would we ever beat ourselves up over anything? Why would we ridicule ourselves? In certain ways, I'm not talking, super strong, but across the board, we all do it. None of us have been exempt. We've done it more than once in just this lifetime. And we walk around in these bodies, and we're constantly looking for peace. Everybody on this planet wants peace. They're not interested. The conflicts of old Earth are fading. We're not agitated by that anymore. We're not interested in partaking in any of that. And you can feel that. Some of us don't know why, but it's not something that we on this planet are interested in. War, conflict, pain, destruction, murder, death, kill, all of it. We're not interested in it. Why is that? Because we have selectively increased our vibrational frequencies, whether we know it or not. You can't, you know, when we're being flooded through the photon energy field, and we're going to be flooded for several thousand years. And what is the assistance there? Well, the assistance, who created that? Who created the photon energy field? Some call it a belt, some call it a ring, but it's an energetic field. Photon energy, light energy. So, we did, the gods that we are. Not just this planet, not just this solar system or galaxy, but this entire universe and beyond. We created it. You've heard the stories of expectation of a galactic flash, right? The great central sun. This is all bicameral. Remember that. It is all, we are the great galactic suns. All of us. It is us. But see, through bicameralism, throughout the ages, many of us picture things differently. As schizophrenics, we picture things totally different than you or I would right in this very now moment. It's such a high vibrational frequency. There comes a time in all things, forever, beyond, always, where a shift occurs to move things into perfect harmony and balance. And that's what we've decided for this planet and solar system, all the planets in it. Because remember, we are not separate. But we have been trained to believe that we are. And what does that do? It separates us through illusion. So we have what? Tension amongst ourselves alone, and each other, tension, frustration, misunderstanding. This is why greed, manipulation, dishonesty, all that floods in into the civilization. Now, once we, as a collective, deeply understand that we're all one, do you really believe that any of us will do anything against each other that is without deep eternal love? We won't. We really won't. Why? Because we will have a high amount of reverence for the gods that we are, a high amount of respect, deep eternal love, kindness, gentleness, and humbleness. All of us. We've all experienced in short periods of time throughout our existence that when we consciously decide amongst ourselves to come together for something, right? It feels good. It feels good. It's our natural state of being, because when we do help without expectation, we feel really good. We do. We feel really good. One of the most powerful things is helping each other. You will go nowhere in this rat race if you don't help others. You won't. Now, of course, people will say, well, what about this person? What about this? What about this? Well, the only reason they are is because they have stolen, right? Theft. When we help others, we've heard this before many times, we genuinely help ourselves. Harmony, love, and it's all practiced with ourselves first. Okay? It's all practiced with ourselves. Not because we feel ridiculed or guilt or some of the stuff we carry throughout lifetimes. We meet that. We embrace it. Now, I'm not saying that that is a real easy thing for many of us, because there's some dark things within each and every one of us. And it's like when we experience those dark things, right? While we were going through it, I always look at it that every one of us, it depends how, what it is that we go through. But it is, some call it the dark night of the soul. But we walk both sides in just about most cases. If it's not this lifetime, it's many other lifetimes. But we walk the dark, so to speak, dark path, okay, for a period of time in our lives. And then we come out of it. How do we come out of it? We decide that we've learned enough from that, and we move into the light. It's not like we weren't light, because we are, but we make a cognitive decision to say, okay, it's time for me to move into the light. This involves many things. People that are addicted for years and years and years to certain things, people that have certain habits that are destructive to themselves and others. But it's experiences that we have. And we make the decision for ourselves. Some don't get out. That, they'll carry that into the next lifetime, and then eventually they will fulfill their karmic debts. We carry karmic debt. I wouldn't use the word debt. We carry karmic stuff that we build up through our lifetimes. And once we identify that and we visit it all, because we will eventually, and then we'll know. I will do this. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't care to carry this baggage anymore. It's too heavy. There's no reason for me to carry it. So I will continue to lighten it until it no longer exists. We are discovering as a people and as gods within these people, bodies, that we are omnipotently powerful, supreme beings that never die. That's it, period. We are master creators, master manifestors. We do it 24/7. We'll never stop doing it. We create everything on the outside of us, we have all collectively created. That's why the diversity on this planet is so massive. You ever wonder why that is? Well, because we as the gods are very diverse. Many different arenas. We've experienced through many lifetimes many things. So that's what makes it so flavorful on the diversity of just this one planet. The different terrain, the different scenery, some people like certain things. We all know that, right? But let's say you have a group of people. Some people will like the area, and other people say, nah, this isn't for me. That's the diversity. It's not like everybody's a bunch of robots, all doing the same thing, thinking the same thing, being the same way. See, we wouldn't see that kind of experience. We would get bored real quick. It's like when we talk about the fact that everybody's trying to be extraordinary and no one's being what? Ordinary. So that means that ordinary eventually becomes extraordinary because nobody wants to be ordinary. Everybody wants to be extraordinary. And the interesting thing about that is we all already are extraordinary. What happens to a civilization when it's programmed for so long, deeply programmed and conditioned, to believe that it's none of those things. And since we're so powerful, what we believe, we create. What we focus on for any length of period of time, we create. I read, how when people send emails and they make comments about their current position, how they feel, what's going on with them physically. But it's not like it's intentional. It's either subconscious or unconscious, but they're actually focused on what they don't want. And they're talking about all of the lower frequencies that they're faced with. So what do you think they're creating? You could have technologies, right, at your disposal that all intents and purposes could mitigate anything that's going on with you. But if you believe and you are heavily steeped in low vibratory frequencies, nothing is going to help you. Nothing. Period. It's like I've said that sometimes, when something happens with these bodies, it gets our attention, doesn't it? It does. If it doesn't go away, right, it gets our attention. And when it gets our attention, what do? It's like a knee-jerk reaction. We go into lower vibrational frequencies. Worry, stress, fear. Isn't that true? Why is that? Well, it's because we've never taken the time to educate ourselves about our bodies. These are our bodies that we're in. And it's interesting because one might say, well, you have a car and you don't work on it yourself. You take it to a mechanic, right? So we take our bodies to a mechanic that we call doctor. Well, that's rational thinking, isn't it? But why wouldn't we be able, we all could too, see, that's what's interesting. Oh, no, I couldn't do that. We could all service our vehicles, our cars, our trucks. We could, if we wanted to. But instead, we give it to someone else who does it for us, right? Just like our bodies. We give our bodies to someone else that we trust, and I emphasize that word trust, are going to heal us, whatever's going on. And see, that's going to shift immensely as time goes by. Why? Because we will tend to ourselves. We will learn that we can heal anything that goes on with these bodies. And we'll know exactly in detail what the things are. Just like now we're talking about zombie cells and the part they play in our bodies. See, because eventually on this planet, you're going to see many of us living to be not without any technology. Without any technology, you'll see people living to be 900, 1,000, 1,500 years. naturally, without any technology. And believe it or not, that's the way we were a long time ago. You know, when we left the body, back then, our teeth were intact. We didn't lose any, none of them rotted or anything. Think about that. Ever. Of course, someone had a rock and knocked them all out. But in a natural process, we've been tricked into so many things, you lose track. That's how many. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because as we discover these things, we become more aware. We will begin, and I believe that this is, we're transitioning to this, that we will truly start embracing trust, faith, and confidence at 100% in ourselves. We're not talking arrogance through the ego mind. We're talking through the heart mind. And in the universe, and we will know what we want. It won't be guesswork. We will know. Right now it's guesswork. And as we move further and further away from the ego mind, the master of us, and we become more and more the master of it, and we use it in a positive way, it then serves us. We don't serve it, which is another experience. In the quiet time of this meditation, focus on this planet as it is in this very moment, from wherever you're at. It will be like you're instantaneously in natural surroundings, in nature. And you're witnessing and experiencing it, breathing, the breath rising and falling, which is you. And all of that you're looking at is you, the God that you are in that body. All of it, for all of us. It's not like, in the material physical world, ego mind controlled, where we say, well, I'm more powerful than you, and I have more than you, and I'm better looking than you, and blah, 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 blah. That's what's fading away. That's the ego mind. Look at the beauty that we are. Every single moment that we're in these bodies. Every view that takes your breath away on this planet. Whether it be the sky, the earth, or the oceans. Is you. You take your own breath away as the God that you are in that body. It's you. You're the beauty. Even you're all of it. There's not a few things that are you, it's all you. And the more and more of us will begin to understand that this is our natural state of being. That when we see something, we know it is the God that we are. Now that is a totally, completely different perspective across the board. Totally, completely the opposite of what we have been trained, programmed, and conditioned how to operate on this planet. And it's all that we're as students, right? And as teachers, it's kind of like a combination. Teach, stew, whatever. And we're taking it all in. And we're kind of sorting it all out at each step of the way. We're embracing everything. It's like I've said many times, is that we're in a major, supremely major spiritual transition. Metamorphosis, transcendence, ascension, whatever word tickles your fancy to describe it. We're in a supremely advanced transition of spirituality, from the material physical to the spiritual. That doesn't mean that, we create all this outside of us to entertain us and to experience. Doesn't mean we're going to stop doing that. We'll never stop doing that. It's our natural state of being, to create, to manifest. So you, in the quiet time of this, as you relax into your body, focus on the breath, rising and falling, as still as a statue. Feel everything around you. This planet, the beauty, all the different scenery. And you'll begin to understand that it is you, it's all of us, as the gods that we are. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return, close us out. Take a easy and slow breath in through the nose. And then easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. There's a little lightning within every thunderstorm. No matter how dark the storm clouds may feel in your inner world, or how scary the bolts of lightning may get, there is a higher purpose to this madness. Know that every shocking jolt of electricity is needed to awaken your system from its slumber so you find your highest potential energy in this lifetime. Whenever you fall into a state of panic, take a deeper breath. Let your breath help you to surrender deeper to experiencing the divinity within this storm. Your darkness is not the enemy. Its purpose is to make your incredible effervescent soul more powerful and electrified. The real enemy is the mindset, which makes you believe that you're separated from divinity. So relax and realize that this thunderstorm will soon pass, and it is helping you to wake up from your overextended nightmare. The storm is on your side. It is helping you to recognize the all-powerful divine being inside you. It's making sure that you don't fall back asleep into the matrix. The sacred storm is making sure that you don't get lost another lifetime in the convincing rational mind which says you're less than divine. Trust the deeper divine part of you, who always knows how to relax. Let go of fear. Let the brilliant stars above navigate you through the storms. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, March 19, 2024, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you.